Thank you so much for coming on. Hosanna Kloss, our operations manager, and Leslie Fish, our executive director, and I all thought it would be an excellent idea to run through the application process and show you not just the application, but the actual examity platform and scheduling any exam and sitting an exam. Uh, we've got some recordings of all these steps, and so we'll walk through them. And this conference call is really the first of what I hope is going to become a regular series of calls with our training providers, because there's always going to be topics of vital interest to your success that coincide with what's necessary for our success as a central support organization. And we all share the same hardworking clients out in the field. So we want what's best for them and for their industries. And as a result, we want to be sure that ICML is effectively addressing the needs of practitioners, the needs of industry, and the needs of training providers out there. So that's you guys. Specifically what kind of tools might be helpful for you, and all the way to covering how-to things like today's topic, which is specifically online exams. There's so many different topics of interest that we all could discuss, but obviously we can't do them all in one phone call today. So that's why I want to schedule these on a quarterly or semi-annual basis. Today's topic, of course, is online exams. And as we proceed with this, feel free to jump in, unmute yourself and ask a question, or the chat window is open as well. You can type something there and we'll see that. So I'm going to cover some walkthrough of the application process and getting the examity profile set up, and then Hosanna will take you on into the exam itself. But the major differences we're going to see here are that this is a two-part process now compared to the paper exam. The online exam includes applying on the ICML server just like you would for a paper exam, except you provide your payment information up front. And then we take a day or two or however long it takes to actually process the payment. And then you move on to the examity platform. This is part two. And that's where you set up a profile and schedule your own exam session. What this means is that in addition to paying in advance as being a big difference for online exams, the exam session date and time are now no longer dependent on training dates at all. It's a whole different model. And the exam session location is no longer dependent on geography, so you don't have to travel and don't have to schedule time like that. It's probably your bigger issues, as opposed to geography, your bigger issues are going to be internet connection, internet stability, and language. So it is going to be necessary, we'll see as we proceed here, that a good grasp of the English language is going to be necessary for somebody to get through the online exam process. Not the exam itself, because the candidate gets to select his or her own language for the exam, but the actual process and the portal, a lot of that is in English only, and we've done what we can to translate and try to make it easier. But for the time being, a good understanding of the English language is probably going to be very helpful for any of your candidates that are going to attempt an online exam. So before I fire up the visuals, are there any questions?
No questions. Clear now.
No questions. All right. Okay, everybody right now should see a page that says serving you. Got it? Is that what everyone is seeing?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. I don't want to be talking and describing stuff that you can't see, so this is good. Excellent. And I think, there we go. All right. This is the regular, obviously that's the front page on our website. And we still go to the same tab for exam applications as you've always gone to, except now you see an option for online versus paper exams. So when your candidate clicks either one of those, we will display a few specs that are going to be necessary for that. These are all the same here for paper exams. Nothing really has changed there to speak of. But for the online exam, there's going to be some specifics on here that will help to decide, help the candidate decide whether to proceed with an online exam or to go back and do a paper exam. You're going to hear us repeat this on several occasions during today's call, but there are documents that we link to and information we provide that is absolutely necessary for the candidates to read and follow along. Otherwise, they're just going to get frustrated. It's all a simple process, but they really need to kind of read and understand what they're getting themselves into. For instance, the online exam, we say right here up front that a private room in your home or office is necessary to make this work. So you're not going to want to do it in a coffee shop, for instance. And you can't do it at an open bullpen desk in your office either. We've got some pictures later that'll help to show what that means. Can you all hear me okay? Because I'm hearing an echo of me.
Yes, sound is okay.
All right.
It's okay.
Okay, good. Thank you for confirming that.
You're welcome.
The tests cannot be taken on a tablet, Chromebook, or cell phone. It's got to be a desktop computer or a laptop with working audio-visual components to it. So a webcam, a microphone, and speaker. One of the biggest things we've noticed, we've gotten feedback from our test takers since middle of July. Internet speed and connectivity and stability is a big deal. So there's a minimum here of 2 megabytes per second upload and download speed. So basically, if somebody's not going to be able to meet these minimum specs, then they probably should go and do a paper exam instead. Assuming the person can, the candidate can meet these specs, then he would select the exam type from this drop-down list. Well, drop-up list. We're going to go with an MLA1 supplemental. Click on that, and you go to a page that you'll recognize right away where you confirm that you've got the experience and the training hours under your belt to proceed with this specific exam. What we've added to this application form now, which is different than before, is we have requested confirmation of the training company that's provided the formal training hours. So you scroll down through this list and pick your training company. In this case, I close my eyes and I randomly select, oh, Oil Doc. Okay, and then we will obviously identify online or in-person training, because what we're going to do is confirm with the training companies that every candidate has actually completed training. And we do this because there's so much training online now that it's a little bit more challenging for us to confirm who has and has not actually completed training. So a little bit more legwork on our part, which is why we're asking for this information in the form now. I just highlighted on there that if a training certificate has been supplied, then that will suffice for us as well. And a candidate can just attach it here to the application form. If, however, the training company is not on that list, then we expect the candidate to select other and then give us the name, country, and website of the training company, the training provider in question. That's the information that we are requiring so that we can track them down and again confirm that the candidate is ready to go. Candidate puts his name in here, clicks continue. All right, now the candidate is responsible for selecting the exam language. So we've got all of our languages in here. Me, I'm an English speaking kind of guy, so I select English. And I'm going to point out again, maybe some candidates read all the terms and conditions, maybe not, but we constantly through this whole process will be repeating all the specs for what makes for a good test taking environment. and the specs for your computer. We repeat it because it's very important. If for some reason the computer isn't up to speed on test day, or the candidate has not adequately prepared his desk to meet the proctor's approval, then the candidate will not be able to actually proceed with an exam. That's why we keep mentioning all this stuff here, because we want our candidates to read and be prepared, save themselves some frustration. There is some information on the terms and conditions page here that I'm highlighting about different fees for cancellation and rescheduling. And the last thing I just highlighted was that it will be with about a week to receive your scores. Well, we slipped in the code of honor. We do, that's the same. There's very little difference here between the paper exams, but we put it in here because it's important that if somebody's going to be representing himself as having been certified by our organization, obviously we want our candidates to be out there in the field operating with integrity and taking the test with honesty. So all that is in here. By checking the box, of course, you confirm, the candidate confirms that he's agreed to all that and will abide by it. Click continue to move on. Oh, I do see a question popped up here. Hold on a second. Rich, you're asking, let me see if this is something I can hit now or wait till Q&A later on. Does ICML contact the trainer to confirm the provided training by the candidate? Yes, is the answer to that question. If the training provider provides a certificate and the candidate uploads it, will that reduce the need for ICML to contact training providers? Okay, yes. And will ICML confirm all trainings or just spot check them? All trainings. Yep. I hope that answers your questions, Rich. All good questions there, by the way. All right, then it's all basic information, business information, personal information. We, just like with the paper exam forms, ask for all this information here so that we can get the latest and greatest and update our database as necessary. Every candidate who completes this form will have this information run past our database. If they're already in there, then we will update the database accordingly. I'm going to put the ICML information for both business and personal contact, just because, and I click continue. All right, highlighted right here, the preferred email is where we're going to send individual test results. It's also the email that's going to be used for all communications by Examity going forward. Oh, and the certificate, that's right, the digital certificates will be sent to that same preferred email address as well. And so we want to make sure that people understand that. Secondary email is helpful if it maybe isn't a job-related email. We do like to have secondary emails in our database for people. Makes it easier to keep in touch with them as they change jobs or locations. Obviously, identify whether you're a first time or retaking an exam, and then click continue. The next page is the payment type page. This is where I see what my exam fee is going to be. And no matter what payment type I select, I will be provided a notice that my payment is going to get processed before I actually get to take the exam. Like I said, this is different from paper exams. Payment needs to be processed in advance this time. So my application will be confirmed after my credit card has been processed. Or if I select a wire transfer or check, I will get a similar notice. My application will be confirmed upon receipt of the transfer. Or if I pay by check, my application will be confirmed once my check arrives. So however fast I can get it in the mail. If I want a receipt, I put a new or existing email address in this field, click continue, and then I get a summary page. Now, please notice that on the summary page, every candidate will be looking again at what exam type has been selected. That's important to notice. MLA1 supplemental. And I say that because we don't want people to be surprised when they get to the Examity website and think they registered for something else. MLA1 supplemental is what I registered for, so I shouldn't be surprised when I see it at Examity. It also says that it's an online exam. It also says it's going to be in English, right? Remember, this is pre-recorded. I'm highlighting everything just for fun, I guess. And then there's the preferred email where my scores will arrive eventually. And as Examity sends me confirmation emails when I schedule my exam session, that's the same email address where those confirmation emails will arrive. So I click Save and Submit. If you've done this before with our paper exams, this content here is fairly similar. It tells me again what exam I have registered for, tells me my exam fee, and that I am pending. It's pending confirmation of my payment. Oh, look, once again, it's the list of specs for the desktop computer and no Chromebooks and all that, just as a reminder. There are some helpful links here for the body of knowledge specific to the exam I've registered, and the code of honor and terms of conditions are repeated. So let's go look at the email that ICML has just sent me to confirm my registration or application. So there it is. This is the friendly email from our senior exam coordinator, Elizabeth Clark, and it is similar content to what we just saw on the website. It tells me again, my application is pending. It tells me again, MLA1 supplemental. And if I scroll down, it'll tell me a little bit about what I should expect on that test, and then provide links to those documents yet again. Now, take note here, you don't have to do anything else at this point except wait for the next email with the link to the Examity dashboard. Once the candidate's payment is processed, we will send an email to this same address that says your application is now complete. And that's the email we're looking at now. So all the candidate has to do after receiving that pending email is wait. He doesn't have to call us up and say anything like, where's my email? He just has to wait for a couple days and will eventually receive this email. Application is complete. It provides the name of my exam yet again. And that big thing right there is the link to the Examity website. When we click on that, which we'll do in just a moment, it's going to take us to the Examity dashboard to build a profile, and Examity will send an email to the candidate with a user ID and a temporary password to be used for future return visits to the Examity site. This is where it's going to be important to see what I'm highlighting right now. Oops. Yeah, the live proctoring test taker guide has got important, very important step-by-step instructions and information, especially for candidates that do not know English very well. Keep in mind, everything on the Examity website, except for the exam necessarily, is in English. So the test taker guide will walk through the steps for what's on the Examity site for setting up a profile, for scheduling the exam, and for eventually connecting with the proctor. So that test taker guide, we strongly encourage every candidate to print it, read it, memorize it, love it, because it's going to be very helpful and save them a lot of frustration. And that document is linked right here at the top, Live Proctoring Guide. That's what it is. And they can print that out and hold on to it. In fact, Ozanya tells me the candidate can hold on to it right up to the point where the proctor connects with them on the Examity site on test day. What we're going to do now is click the big link here and go to the Examity site and set up our profile and schedule my MLA1 supplemental exam. Fade to black. Okay, so this is what we see when we land at Examity. It's the dashboard. The test taker guide will describe what to do and where to go at this point to set up the profile, but we're going to walk you through it. So if candidates ask you questions, then you'll have some idea of what you can tell them. Anybody have any questions at this point? Is invoice to the training provider option available? Invoicing questions might come better at Q&A time. Yeah, we're open to discussing options along those lines, Jawad. So a candidate comes, hits this generic dashboard. Examity is not going to let the candidate schedule the exam session for that MLA1 supplemental until the profile is built. So Examity is going to require you to establish a profile, and that's what we're going to do next. It's fairly straightforward, nothing really out of the ordinary compared to setting up a profile on any other website, but we get to walk through it anyway. So those are the steps, they list them out, and these are the 4 parts that are going to get completed. So the first thing we want to do is identify our time zone. Somebody did ask us after the first session today whether the time zone on the calendar in a few minutes when I'm scheduling my exam is the time zone our ICML time zone or the candidate's time zone. I mean, really the correct answer is whatever time zone the candidate selects in the account right here. So I happen to live in Central Time Zone, so I want to make sure that when I'm picking an exam time and date, I am looking at Central Time Zone times. So go ahead and complete this. Everything's done. We click Save. Boom, 1 of 4 parts is completed. Now you may be asking yourself, why do I have to build a profile? You have to build a profile, every candidate does, because Examity will not allow a candidate to schedule an exam until this profile is complete, all the way. And you only have to do it once. Yeah, when you come back, your candidate comes back for return visits, the profile's still there. Candidate comes back a year from now to take a new exam, that profile is still there. So it's a one-time setup. So you put in your photo of Brad Pitt, and then you move on to some security questions. There's a list of about 12 questions. Every candidate just picks 3. One of these questions will always be used by the proctor on your exam session day to help confirm your identity. And lastly, this is the exam key, is what they refer to as the biometric signature. It's very important. We've found that it is extremely important that every candidate remembers what he or she puts in here. I'm going to pause it right there. My name is Paul Hiller, and so it's real easy for me. I don't go by any other names. But if a candidate happens to put in a nickname here, or if a candidate happens to have 3 names, I mean, it's different what different people do with their names. So whatever this is that I key in right here, I need to remember it on test day because the proctor is going to ask me to repeat this information. And if I don't get it right, guess what? I don't get to take my test. So advise your candidates, please, that they need to remember exactly what they type here. Oh, another question. This information in this portal is available in Spanish. Is that a question, Liliana? Or is that a statement?
Yes, it's a, hello, how are you?
Hello.
My name is Liliana Gordillo from SKF Colombia. Yes, I have this question because we have a lot of customers in our region, Central America, Colombia,
Right.
Ecuador, Venezuela, and they take this exam in Spanish. And for us, it's important to know this portal, for example, Examinity, is available in Spanish to under to it's important to our customers to understand this information
Yes.
to they put all information clarify all information is important to put our customers.
I understand that, and so do we, because we have so many Spanish test takers, and we are working with Examity to get everything in Spanish. Because, like I said earlier, selecting Spanish for the exam itself is one thing, but not all of Examity's content in this portal has been translated yet.
Okay.
Hold on. Go ahead.
We translated the exam guide and it shows.
That is translated? Okay. Hosanna is just confirming for me that when I mentioned that live proctor guide earlier, where I said the portal information for setting up profiles is in the test taker's guide for live proctoring exams. And it's a printout version of everything in this portal and all these pages that, this profile setup we're looking at right now. We have translated that ourselves. So any of the Spanish folks can print that out and see it on paper, what's in Spanish, even though on screen it's in English. And that way they can at least fill out this form correctly. So that's our backup plan for now. Does that make sense?
Okay, perfect. I understand you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And now all four of the exam requirements are met. See, they're all green check marks now. So that means I can proceed with, maybe I'll do a computer requirements check. How about that? We'll get to do this on exam session day as well, but if you click that, it's going to take a look at the computer I'm on and tell me if I'm good to go with my test. I'm not taking my test right now. However, if this is the computer I'm going to use on test day, maybe it's a good idea to run that little computer requirements check right now and get a heads up on if I need to fix anything. We'll get to do that again on test day. But for now, let's go ahead and schedule an exam. So we click schedule an exam down here or from the main dashboard. All right, so there's instructions there in the left box. To schedule an exam, select program and exam. So I click here and I only registered for one exam. It's the MLA1 supplemental. So I pick it on both boxes and then I'm looking at a calendar where I get to pick my own date and time, 24/7 availability, gentlemen. And it's going to schedule me 24 hours out. So it looks like let me pause that real quick. I was doing this on a Friday when I recorded this, and you can see that it's scheduling me any times available after 3:30 on Saturday. If I want to go ahead and take it today, then there's an option up here on the top right corner that says on-demand scheduling. If I click that on, it will go ahead and let me schedule times within the next 24 hours to take my exam. That does cost a $5 fee, and so the average candidate, upon clicking that option, will be faced with supplying credit card information and paying $5. But it's doable. That option is there. So for $5, if that's what you want to do, great. I've turned mine off, and I'm going to schedule my exam for 3:30 on a Saturday. So then I click schedule, bing, ask me for confirmation, because it knows I'm nervous about my test, I guess. And I say yes, and it gives me a summary page. Once again, it says MLA1 supplemental, so I shouldn't be surprised when I get an MLA1 supplemental on Saturday. There's my exam date again, my start time, 3:30. The standard rules describing my room, once again, Got to be alone in the room, clear desk, no dual monitors, all that stuff. All right, now I'm going to go check some emails here. We can go ahead and log out of this page. There's there's going to be an email waiting for me that has this same confirmation email information in it. So I can log out from here, or I can go back to the dashboard and log out from there. Now I'm successfully logged out of Examity. I'm going to go and show you the confirmation email. And remember me saying that Examity will have sent me a password for my return visit. So there'll be a different email for that. All right, so here's the confirmation email from Examity, supplying the all that same information. There's my exam name again, test date, test time, and there's the link that I'm going to use to get back in on test day. I'm going to highlight down here. You can check your computer readiness again. On test day, if you're going to use this link to get into the Examity platform, then if you click the computer system readiness again, maybe you're going to be taking the test on a different computer than you just finished using for signing up. Then that would be a good idea to come in here and click that link again. Right below that, you'll see that it says install Zoom meeting app on your computer. You don't have to do that before test day, but it would be really helpful if it's already there, because Zoom is the most common application that the proctor is going to use to work with you. Sometimes he uses GoToMeeting, but most of the time it's going to be Zoom. So if you've already got it on your computer, that'll just save some time and frustration. Oh yes, and once again, read that Examity Live Proctoring Test Taker Guide. It's still going to be useful on test day, right up to the point where the proctor connects with you. And that's the link where you're going to go on test day. So let me close this one. And on test day, when I click that link, I'm going to go in and use the temporary password and set myself a new password. So you'll see another email from Examity waiting for you that tells you that your temporary password is right there in the email. So when I go in on test day, what did I say? Saturday at 3:30 p.m., I'm going to click this link and I'm going to use that temporary password and then set myself a permanent password. And that's what I'll use anytime I revisit Examity for some tests. Okay, here's some nice photo. Oh, any questions at this point? I've been talking a lot. All right, we're going to show some photos here of what counts for a clear desk and what doesn't. And again, this is important as we've had some people not prepare their desks properly, and it causes communication issues and frustrations for everyone involved if you're trying to clear your desk while the proctor is watching you. So that's what these visuals are for. These are on our website as well. And we'll run through this real quick, and then we'll do Ozania's exam session. All right, so this lady here, obviously cluttered desk, drink, phone, books, papers, all not good. And in fact, it's not even a private location. Unless she was coming back at midnight to do this exam when no one's around, then this would not be a good place to take an exam. This desk, it's all neat and tidy, but it's still a bunch of books and papers. So again, not good. It's got to be, they may as well just be set on the floor for the few hours you'll be taking your test. This gentleman, what's wrong with this picture? Oh, cell phone, can't do it. Proctor will not let you have a cell phone up there. Probably that pen and pad over on the left side is not good either. Oh, now that I'm looking at it, there's a cup of tea over there on the right side of the computer. He's got to get rid of that. Speaking of which, that was my cell phone just now. Ironic. Okay. This is not anybody's private home. Looks like a coffee shop to me. Good place for an exam? No, 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 no. There's no privacy there at all. This dude looks like he's in a quiet coffee shop, but Maybe it's just after hours, but he has no privacy. There's probably staff cleaning up. He is not in a suitable location. And did I mention no coffee shops? I don't know why that's such a big thing with me, but once again, all these people sharing a table, not a good place for a certification exam at all. So let's look at what will work. These are webcams. They will be great if you don't have one built in. It would be, you're going to need one attached like these here. Here's a setup at somebody's house, maybe the corner of an office. If nobody's in that room, this will work out great. You see the only papers in this room are kind of behind the chair and on a rack, so not where they're going to be readily available to the test taker. This desk is super clear, so this would be great if it weren't for that mug of coffee sitting right there, right? Just like with the paper exams, no drinks. So if you were to remove that cup of coffee like so, bing, now it's gone, then this will work out great. And your proctor will like you for this. Somebody did ask me recently about a calculator. If you're taking an exam that requires calculations, there is an on-screen calculator as part of the test form. So when you're out there, you can use that. Conference rooms, excellent choice. Shut the door for privacy, and they're usually neat and clean and clutter-free. Extra office space that nobody's using at your plant or at your office building, that seems like a good idea too. And one more home office photo. This one actually does use one of the external webcams. The proctor may suggest it be moved to a different location, but it certainly is easier to take that and show the proctor your entire room than it is to pick up the computer system and try to do the same thing. And Hosanyi will talk about that in a few minutes. The live proctor will require to see the room somehow. So in this case, there's no papers or clutter sitting around. And there is a smiling, encouraging face back here. Who is that? Oh, hey, what a nice looking guy. All right. So this office setup meets the grade. So now let's say we've gone back to that email and we've clicked the link to come back to Examity. It's test day. And so now we're on profile, we're on Hosanyi's profile. Now we're going to click the button that says Start Exam. And there she goes. So this is Hosanyi getting ready to take her exam. And I'm going to turn this over to Hosanyi. She can talk through this part. And you're going to hear the actual proctor talking to her as well. So here you go.
Hello, everybody. At this moment, I'm waiting until the proctor starts the verification process. So now I click proceed.
This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, my name is Ravi and I will be your proctor today, and please confirm your name as Rosie and you're about to take a MLAI supplemental exam for the duration of 45 minutes. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Thank you for the confirmation. And next, I'm going to walk you through the validation process, and this should take about 5 minutes. So have you taken an exam with us before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, great. Then go through this quickly and get your IT test. And if you have any questions, you can stop me at any time, okay?
Okay.
Now, show me a government issued photo ID to the webcam.
So now we're gonna see here that I bring the photo ID very close to the camera. So the proctor needs to see my full name and my photo. So you need to pay attention to that.
Thank you. And now I am going to read you the list of exam rules, and please let me know you understand by saying okay after each rule and asking me to repeat if anything that is unclear to you.
Okay, as you can see, the proctor speaks English and all the instructions are in English. However, every step in that document, that the user guide, we translated every step. So the candidate, although the candidate might not understand the English well, the candidate will know what the proctor is saying. So we translated every single word that the proctor says, all those rules, everything the candidate will need to understand to proceed. So that's why we always tell the candidates, please make sure you read the user guide, because it's going to be translated in all 12 languages.
Okay.
You must be alone in the room throughout the test.
Yes.
You must have a clear desk and workspace.
Okay.
Your computer must be connected to a power source.
Okay.
No phones may be used during the test.
Okay.
The use of headphones is not allowed.
Okay.
No dual monitors. If you have one, please unplug it.
Okay.
You cannot leave your seat during the test.
Okay.
No talking unless you're asking me a question.
Okay.
Your webcam, speakers, and microphone must remain on throughout the test.
Okay.
And I must be able to see you for the duration of the test.
Okay.
And let me check with the additional rules and special instructions. Well, I do not see any. And now I need to see your desk and workspace. So could you please rotate your webcam 360 degrees so that I can see the area around you.
Okay.
Okay, that's where I show the proctor the whole room and my desk as well. It's really important that the desk is clean, because if it's not, the proctor will not proceed until the candidate cleans everything. And of course, because it involves communication between the proctor and the candidate, and it could be a
And the
challenge.
TV is turned off, right?
Yes,
So-
it is.
So let me stop a little bit. Okay, so if the candidate cleans everything, do what I expect him to or her to do, then it will be, you save time and troubles. So, and another important step is that everything is done slowly, because sometimes internet connection can be a challenge. So if you do the candidate move slowly, it's very, very helpful.
And show me a complete desk. It needs to be clear, except for the material specifically allowed by instructor. Show me the desk. Thank you. You'll see a next button on the examity page. Click on it. You'll see one of the security questions you selected. Enter the answer.
Okay, if the candidate forgets any answer, any of these questions, the candidate can also go back to my profile and verify what are the answers. So that's okay that the person does that. But when they answer the questions, of course, the answer must match. So let's proceed. Same here for these biometric keys. They need to match with the first one. And this exempt agreement, and we have
And
translated
please
all
agree
this.
each part of user agreement, including the exam rules, and you can click on next. Now you reach start and click begin exam, and if you have any questions during the test, you can ask me directly, or you can reach a support team by clicking the live chat option on your exam page. Click on begin exam.
Okay, thank you.
This process can take
And hold on a
5
second.
minutes.
Scroll down. Scroll down. Click on proceed. Hold on a second now. Now click on begin.
And these instructions are translated as well. And from now on, everything will be in the exam, in the language the candidate has selected.
Good luck with this, and let me know once you're done, okay?
I just want to remove the GoToMeeting window because it's covering my exam.
Yeah, if it's minimized, if it's occupying, click on the two little arrows.
So what happened here is the GoToMeeting window. I didn't take this test with Zoom. It was GoToMeeting. So there was a window that was blocking me to see the page. So I told the proctor, and later on you're gonna see an alert. My movement prompt out an alert, that a suspicion alert. So it's normal, it's gonna happen, but by the end of the examination, we receive recording for all exams. So, and that's the reason the candidates will not receive their results automatically, because we have to watch all these recordings before releasing results. So we tell the candidates that their results will be sent within a week. Most of the time it will be sooner than that. But again, because we have to watch so many recordings, it could be for about 48 hours.
Facing each other at the top right corner, it will be shrinked completely, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And that's the suspicious event that I told you. That was because I did some movement moving. So let's say if someone go to open another window, Google something, then at this moment, the proctor will stop the examination. So if someone does something wrong, the proctor will stop. The proctor saw that my movement was just something that I was moving the window, so there was no issue. But again, if the candidate makes any movement that was not supposed to do, or get a cell phone, something, then the examination will stop.
Let me know once you're done. Give me a second. Do not click on any back buttons, anything, okay? Back spaces.
Okay,
Let me
thank
know
you.
once you're done. Thank you.
Candidates can go back and forth. They can flag a question. Let's say that they want to go back to that question. To make it easier, they can just click in flag, and then it will highlight that number so that it can come back to that question. And as a paper and pencil exam, with paper pencil, candidates can make notes in the test. Of course, because they cannot bring anything to the examination room for online exams, we allow the candidates to make comments on the question. So they just need to click and send feedback, and they can make comments under each question. And also there is a calculator. You don't see a calculator here, but we allow a calculator. So they just need to click on the top close to tools, and a calculator will be available. So the candidates don't need to bring any calculator. See, I flagged one question here so that you can see. And later on, it makes easier for the candidates to come back to that question and review. And here is, I make some comments about that question. So we receive all those comments, and then we're going to review that particular question. So I'm coming back to that flagged question. Unflag, and then move next question. As you can see, we can go back and forth, and then I'm submitting my exam. And then ICML code of honor. Again, this will be translated, so and then agree and continue. And then you're going to receive a notification that your examination will be ready, your results will be ready within 1 week. And that's
Hello?
it.
Yes, I finished.
And that's where I tell the proctor that I have finished, and that's it. I can log out.
Give me a second.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. And let me check with the post-exam instruction that needs to be followed. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I do not see any, and with this, your test appointment is now over, and you can exit the session whenever you want. And we at Examity value your opinion, greatly appreciate your feedback, and please take a short survey available now on the Examity browser window. Thank you, and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, that's it. Any questions? The instructions is translated, and everything in Examity, everything we have translated in the user guide. So we send to the candidates in advance, and let's say we tell them, okay, to move on, click in next. So we didn't translate the word next because that's what the candidates will read in Examity. So we kept everything that is in English, so they will know exactly what we're talking about. And we send this documentation in advance, so the candidates will have to read. This is really, really important, because if they don't read, by the time they start the examination, they will not know what to do. So our major concern is foreigners we are translating this documentation in all 12 languages, and we can send to you all in advance this documentation. If you send me an email, I can email this form in advance so that you can share with your participants. Any questions? Another thing that I would like to mention is we have experienced that some companies, they don't allow their candidates to download Zoom. In this case, we have to know in advance, because then we'll ask Examity to upload a GoToMeeting. So this is an option, because up front, we don't know exactly which system, which platform the proctor will pick, either Zoom or GoToMeeting. Most of the times will be Zoom. That's why we ask the candidates to upload this platform, this application, sorry. But if the candidate cannot download this application, we can ask the proctor in advance to GoToMeeting, because GoToMeeting is easier because they don't have to download anything. But we need to know in advance. And the reason is that GoToMeeting doesn't support proctors that are not in their facility. So we need to tell Examity to please to select a proctor that is in their facility where GoToMeeting can be used. So just let us know in advance anything, any need, any special need your candidate need requires. Please contact ICML, and we go do our best to. The proctor will only speak. Yes, Jaime. Yes, at this moment we only have English-speaking proctors. But we understand that in Spanish, there are a lot of people that speak Spanish and that don't speak English. And we are working with Examity, and we are asking them to hire Spanish proctors. Why it doesn't happen, we'll try to accommodate best their needs and see how it goes. But I am sending emails in advance to everybody, talking to them and trying to explain it step by step, and to see if it helps them in advance. And of course, we're going to post this video on our website, and we're going to have a subtitle. So we're going to do our best to clarify all questions so the candidates have a good experience. Any other questions?
Hello, Rosana. This is Pedro Quesada from Peru. I would like to know if the Zoom session must be open all the time during the test process, or just for instructions.
I'm sorry. If what is open all the time?
The Zoom session must be open or available during all the time for the test, for the exam, or is just for instruction at the beginning of the test.
Now, the Zoom session is where the proctor will share the screen with the candidate. So if the candidate closed, the proctor will not be able to see anything else. So the Zoom session is open all the time for the duration of the examination.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And if you see that right now in the video, candidates can enter comments as the paper pencil, because during the session, the paper pencil test, candidates can make notes in their test. And of course, during online session, they cannot have any piece of paper, anything in their desk, just their photo ID, anything else. So candidates can make comments below each question, and then we're going to receive these comments and proceed exactly like we do with the paper pencil. And another issue, let's say that someone has a problem during the examination session and they got disconnected. And if the person speaks English, it's easy. The proctor will call the candidate. So let's say if I'm taking the test and all of a sudden my internet gets disconnected. So we ask the candidate to step out of the room, get his cell phone, and the proctor will contact him. For international, Of course, let's say the proctor doesn't understand English. So we have two options. Google Translate is very good, so it's helping us a lot. So candidates can send a message in their language to the proctor, and the proctor will try to work. Sorry, if you don't have internet connection, of course, you cannot send a message. But let's say, yeah, let's say another problem, not the proctor, the candidate's having a different problem. So then the candidate can communicate with the proctor. If the candidate cannot communicate, internet connection dropped, and of course, there is no phone calls because the candidate doesn't speak English. So the candidate can communicate with ICML, send an email to us, and we're gonna work with the candidates and we schedule another day and figure out what was the problem. But again, most of the time, most of the problems, we already have over 150 exams, and most of the time the problem is candidates don't have a clean desk. So it delays the process because the proctor needs to communicate, please clean your desk, please do this, please do that. So if the candidates clean their desk, and it saves a lot of troubles. And of course, candidates cannot have a cell phone during the examination because nowadays you can check answers, so no cell phones. And another thing, it's basic, but it is true. A lot of people forget what they put in their first time in their profile. So you see, my name is Rosania Claus. I put Rosie Claus. If I type Rosania Claus, of course, the system will not accept. So I need to type my name exactly as I did in my profile. Anything else? And we always been work with you. If you remember anything else, send me an email. We can, and if you see any problems, send an email, suggestions, anything. We are very open. We are in the implementation step. We are open to change. We are working with Examity again to hire, at least Spanish speaker proctors, and Examity also is looking in the future to translate their instructions to some language. Of course, we cannot translate in all language, but at least some. So that's something for the future, and we're gonna keep watching and see what language we need mostly, and then later on we're gonna have this translated. But in the beginning, we have the user guide with everything we translate. It's a huge document because it's 12-page document because we translated everything to make the candidate experience easier. No, the candidate cannot go to the restaurant as the paper pencil exam. It's the same policy. There is no break, 3 hours straight. Of course, most of the candidates don't take 3 hours, but still, they cannot leave the room to go to the restaurant. Candidates go to the room, practice speak English. All exams in Spanish, all exams are translated. And we have translated all exams that are available in paper are available online. So let's say Chinese, we have Chinese MLA 1, 2, and MLT. So in paper pencil. So all these 3 exams are translated are in the online version. Italian, we have MLT1, so online exams, MLT1, and so forth. But for Spanish and Portuguese and French, we have all exams. Anything else?
Well, all right then.
Okay, you have, if we have exam 10 people, we need. Yes, Juan, but you see, these candidates, they can take the test at their home. So we really don't need anymore a session for a particular group of people. So they just need to have a laptop or a computer, and they can take the test anytime they would like. We have proctors 24 hours, 7 days a week. Okay, so we don't really need an examination session where we can accommodate 10, 15 people anymore for online exams, because again, they will take at their own time. Anything else? Well, Pedro, if someone answers the phone, it's a violation. If you talk to someone, opens the door and come to talk to you, it's a violation, because the proctor is not understanding what you say. So you don't know if that person is giving an answer for something. It's a violation. And sometimes, I don't know if you notice, sometimes if I move my mouse a little bit, it shows like suspicious in alert, but this doesn't mean that there is a problem. The system is very sensitive. By the end of the examination,
Okay.
Let
Thank
me know
you.
once you're done. Thank you.
Okay, no, that's okay. I want to see if, I think that suspicion is in the beginning of the session.
Let me know once you're done. Give me
This suspicion event, that's where I try to move the GoToMeeting window so that I could see the test. So the system highlights shows a suspicion event, but that doesn't mean it's a problem. By the end of each session, ICML is going to receive a recording of all exams. So if a candidate tells us, I have this problem, I'll be able to go and watch the video and see what was the problem, what happened. And then this is very helpful. So let's say by the end of the examination, if you have an alert that really proves the candidate, had some hidden piece of paper or check his cell phone, these exams, these people will be penalized because they're supposed not to do this. But one or two suspicion, we're going to see exact suspicion alert. I mean, we're going to check what happened and then approve the examination. And that's why by the end of the examination, we tell the candidates, within 1 week, you're going to receive your results. The results are available immediately. However, because ICML needs to watch the recording and verify if there was no alert, anything, we ask for 1 week. So within 1 week, most of the time it takes 48 hours for us to be able to watch the video and then release results. And one laptop and PC is acceptable. Tablet is not. Cell phone, no. And Chromebook, no. Actually, laptop is the best option. Okay, this is where I finish the examination. I see ICML Code of Honor. And then after that, you get a note that you completed the test, and then you're going to receive a result within 1 week. Okay, that's it. Say within 1 week, your receipt will be emailed to you. And most of the time, we send the results within 2 days. That's most of the time. Of course, if there is one recording that we need to watch and pay more attention, then it's going to take a little bit longer. But most of the time, we're not taking 1 week to release results. Anything else? Again, if you'd like me to send the user guide I can email you in advance. So just send me an email and I can send to you. Right now it's available in Portuguese, Spanish, and French is almost done. German is always done, and Japanese. So just send me an email and I'll send to you the user guide. Okay?
Yes.
Paul, I just actually was disconnected a while ago, so I'm just trying to ask you 2 questions. I don't know if you have already catered this. Number one, As you said, that selection of dates for exam you can choose after 24 hours. So how long long after you can select? Let's say, can I select a date after 1 month for my exam, or after 2 weeks, or is there a limit to select the date? This is my first
like
question.
how far out can you schedule your exam? Is there a limitation on that? That's
As long as they don't forget.
however long your memory will last you is apparently the answer here. If you want to
All right,
schedule it 4 weeks away, that's great. You'll get an email reminder about it, but then I don't know if they send follow-up reminders the closer you get to the date. They do not. Okay, so if you want to schedule Examity for the following, 4 weeks from now, the only reminder you've got is if the email that comes to you immediately confirming your schedule and your own calendar. You won't get any reminders closer to date. So, but no, there's no limit.
Okay. And then I just wanted to ask another question, which I asked in between the presentation. While booking the exam, you need to pay through credit card. But what if we have a contract with a customer on corporate level? We'll provide training and exam, and then in the paper exam, we used to get invoice from ICML. So for online exam, can we do like this? Send it to invoice?
Yeah, I would recommend calling or emailing Hosanna or Elizabeth about trying to come up with the online exam version of your paper arrangement. Because we're open to we're open to trying to accommodate those sorts of things. But for your specific situation, you'll need to talk to them. But it's possible. Does that make sense?
Okay. So it means that you can work on this.
Yes, we can.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can work on that.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
And by the way, let's say that if you have a built-in camera on your desktop, with laptop, it's really easy to move, but a desktop and monitor is not that easy if your camera is built in. So sometimes it's hard for the cameras to move. So we had this experience before. And what the proctor suggests the candidate was to step out of the room, get himself or her cell phone, and then do a panoramic view of the room, record, and then show to the camera. So the proctor would be able to see the recording and approve. And same deal for the desk, for the table, computer desk. So any other questions?
No, this is great. This is going to help out quite a bit. Thank you so much for your guys' hard work. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, I'll pass to Paul now.
All right. For our next hour, no, I'm just kidding. Hey, as you all think of any additional questions or suggestions or have feedback of your own experiences, just send an email to Hosanna or to myself, and we'll respond accordingly. Thank you all so much for joining us today and learning about this. It's exciting times, so we're glad to have you.
Great. Thank you for your hard work, Paul.